Hello there, Ray here, and I'm joined by Cheater Coves as well as Eagle Eye, both members of the Protect server.
Hello.
Hello and welcome.
Today, guys, we got something real special. We're going to show you some really simple ways to break Bedrock in survival. And we have cracked the code for Bedrock breaking. We figured out a way that makes it 100% reliable to break a Bedrock, so you don't have to worry about placing in tons of TNT and never having that Bedrock break. With these new methods, it will be 100% and you guys will be very satisfied. And Impulse SV is actually trying to break Bedrock on the Hermitcraft server and make diamonds. It's part of his new shop that he has on there. So hopefully with these new techniques, he can break tons of Bedrock and gain tons of diamonds. This all started a few months ago when we were trying to figure out an alternative way to be breaking Y0 Bedrock. And while we were doing a lot of testing, we tried to find out why a lot of times it wasn't being reliable. So after much testing and cheater codes looking into the Minecraft code, we figured out why it was inconsistent. And using these discoveries, we're able to make a lot of different types of flying machines, which allow you to AFK and break Bedrock, all while being in survival. Now today we won't be going over the flying machines, that will be shown in a separate video in the future, but we will be going over some simple ways to do it in a survival world.
This first design, I believe, was originally by New Cake, and the way it works is by placing a TNT on this redstone block right here. After you compress yourself with the trapdoor, while you're underneath, you put a TNT up against the side of this piston, which will place it on this block. Then you have to spam click with a piston to try and replace this one. So it doesn't always work, but if we get lucky, see what happens here. Put down the TNT, and then spam click with the piston, and since it's facing up, you know it worked this time. And while it did work this first time, it doesn't always work. If you're going to use this method, you do want to bring a bunch of backup TNT.
So because it was so inconsistent and so many people were complaining about just having a lot of difficulty and trying for hours just to break a few Bedrock, Cheater Codes looked into the code, and you want to go ahead and kind of explain what you noticed?
Yeah, so it appears that the blocks are broken in a basically random order. It's not entirely random, but it's very location dependent and hard to predict. What you want is you want to blow up the power source before you blow up the piston, and there's no way to guarantee that with a single TNT. However, I realized that you could instead just butt power the piston and then put a lot of blocks around it to increase the chance that the piston is updated before it's exploded.
And we made a little simple setup for that. So this is a bit more reliable than that, but it's not 100%. Essentially, we got this piston here. It is butted by this lever, which is powering this block, and it's updated and extended. If we would remove that power, it's still butted. We have a bunch of blocks around here, which are easy to break for TNT, including this netherrack. And if we stick the TNT just a little ways away, it will have a really high chance of breaking these other blocks before actually breaking the piston. And we can go ahead and give this a try. We don't need to be in like a nitro mode or anything. We can stand up really close to this and just shift click up against this trapdoor here. Okay, it gets ignited. I'm just gonna spam click on this trapdoor. When it blows up, the piston is facing downward. That means it actually failed. If you remove this, you see there's no Bedrock. So it's not 100%, but with this method, it is possible to have a higher chance of actually breaking the Bedrock underneath. So we'll try it again to power it. Power this, come in here, spam click a piston up against the edge of this. And that time it did work because the piston is facing the same direction as the first one. If I go ahead and break this one, you should notice that there is no Bedrock underneath. It went ahead and destroyed it. Plus it also breaks a lot of your blocks, so you don't have to tear them down. It makes it pretty nice to do this setup. And like I said, it's not 100%, but it is better than that setup over there.
So as we mentioned before, the problem is that the order of events is not reliable. So in order to make it reliable, this is a very simple example setup. So we have two TNT blocks. One is responsible for just blowing up the redstone block. The other one is responsible for only blowing up the piston. And we ignite them both in the same tick, but with different update orders. So this one here ignites first, and then this one, but still in the same tick.
And that's because there's a delay on this repeater, and it takes longer for it to be processed.
They have the same total delay, but the initial delay of the first repeater is lower on this one, so this gets updated first.
So when we ignite this TNT will technically explode before this one, and yes, it will remove this power source. I mean, this piston is retracting. Then this TNT will blow up this piston while it's retracting, and then in that time we will be able to place in our piston, which will take the properties of this one retracting and apply it into a different direction and apply it this way, which will pull this bedrock block, pretty much replace the bedrock block with the piston head, which will make it air. So we can go ahead and try this one now, I guess. The lever over here, just flick the lever, spam piston up against the side here. You can see the bedrock block has been removed, and the piston is now facing back upward again. So it is 100% reliable by using 2 TNT. This same type of setup can be used for any direction on bedrock. So that one was on the side, but we can also go ahead and break downwards as well. So if I flick that lever there, go in here, then spam up against this side here. Now, if I remove this, you see the bedrock is broken downwards. So after we got working 100% of the time, we wanted to now then compact it. So instead of using repeaters to kind of determine which TNT would update first, we decided to use redstone and levers. And the way that a lot of redstone components work is that they'll update certain directions before others, and we can use this to determine which TNT will get updated first. So lever here is actually going to update this block and this TNT over here first. Then it's going to update this one over here. And we can actually use this to be able to have a reliable way of breaking bedrock. And even though the game will actually technically ignite both these in the same 1/20th of a second, the game cannot do both of them at the same time, so one will have priority over the other. And we can go ahead and do this one in survival as well. You actually don't take that much damage, even though you're this close to the bedrock, or this close to the TNT explosions. There we went ahead and broke this bedrock, so if we remove this piston, bedrock is broken underneath.
So another thing we realized afterwards was that while the first TNT has to blow up only the power source, the second one can be placed pretty much anywhere. So in this setup, we just moved it next to the other TNT. So it's further away from the player, it still works reliably, and it's just more compact.
Okay, let's go ahead and give it a try. Ignite, come in here, spam up in here, and voila, went ahead and broke some more bedrock.
Just out of curiosity, while we're not sure where it would be too useful, you can also break bedrock upwards the same way. So this setup is exactly the same, except it's a bit changed, so you can turn the piston upwards.
So I'll power this and spam a piston along the edge right here. And went ahead and broke the bedrock up above. So you can break bedrock pretty much any direction, even upwards.
So the last thing we tried with this setup is to just see how big of a hole you'd have to make if you want to dig all the way through the ceiling. And you can do a 2x4, but you're very close to a TNT and might take quite a bit of damage. But it does work.
So I actually got some armor here. By having blast resistant armor, you can pretty much avoid taking almost any damage whatsoever. And we are in hard difficulty. So we can flick this lever, go in here, spam up here where this trapdoor is. And yep, we went ahead and broke the bedrock. So if we remove this, see there's now a hole there. So yeah, you can do this, and by kind of moving this back and forth and rotating it, you're able to make a 2x4 hole all the way down through the bedrock.
This contraption here, I believe, was first done by Fall and Breath. It works pretty much the same way that the rest of them do. Have these 2 blocks in the middle, which divide the TNT so that the power source can be destroyed before the piston. What you're going to do is you're going to compress yourself like this. You'll get your piston ready. And when you flick that lever, you're going to want to slide over a little bit to spam click right under here. And if you're doing this in survival, you take about a heart or 2 of damage.
There you go, guys. Put a hole into the ground. So his technique uses the same concept that we came up with by dividing the TNT so it's 100% reliable, which we've been working on for several months now. So in this final design here, it is quite easy to see what's going on. We have a lever, which is powering this TNT over here. And then the lever is going and powering this block and then powering this one. One thing we noticed is that we don't have to have like obsidian or any block that won't be able to be blown up. We can use blocks that can blow up. And that's what we got in here. So anything with the kind of high blast resistance will work fine, like cobblestone. And we got the trapdoor over here. Player can stand here. So we can do this in survival. You just flick that lever there. Go underneath the trapdoor and spam up here and place in that piston. So if we go ahead and remove this, you can see it works. Makes a nice little hole. So it's a very easy and simple to understand setup. And you can also change this around where you have it 2x3 and have a trapdoor here. But then we switch up the update order for the TNT. So we have the dust over here and the block over here. And this block will ignite this one first, which will blow up this lever, making it retract. And then this one will come around and blow up the actual piston here. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Click the lever, go in here, spam up against this here. And yeah, if I remove this, you can see the bedrock has been broken. But you do take a little more damage because it's a kind of direct line of sight between this TNT and the player over here. But by having only 3 wide, you can make a hole that is 4 by 2, and you can go all the way down through the bedrock with that. So when it comes down to placing in the pistons, you want to click really fast. So you can have like a macro that clicks fast, or you can actually do this in survival. I showed you guys this a trick way back in 1.13, where you can come into here, your controls, and switch these out to a keyboard button. So if I click on this, right click, which is place item, just change it to B. Now if I come out here and let's see, if I go ahead and type, notice how when I press B for the first time, it's going to print out 1B, but if I continue holding down, it's going to spam it really, really fast. It does the same thing for placing blocks. The first time you hold down the button, it's going to place down 1, and then it's going to start spamming really fast. Notice how fast I can make that lever go back and forth. So we can do the same thing with placing in a piston. So we hit the lever, hit the trapdoor, come in here and spam B up in this corner here, and then it's going to place in the piston, and just like that, we can break bedrock in survival without even needing to use a macro or any kind of auto clicker. Some really easy ways to break bedrock in survival. You can use this in whatever locations you want to. You can also use it for any other type of non-destructible stuff like end portal frames and stuff like that. Big thanks to Cheater Codes as well as Eagle Eyes for helping out during this testing. And if you guys would like to take part in future testing, we do them every Wednesday and Friday. We open up a server where we do testing of the newest snapshot with the viewers. So make sure you follow me on my other social media so you get notified of when that starts. And Eagle Eye has his own YouTube channel. You guys can check it out. He has a lot of technical Minecraft stuff there. And you can find Cheater Codes as well as all the other ProTech members over at the ProTech Discord, which is linked below. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey.